morning. This is Dr. Susan, and with my favorite little co-host, this is Maverick. You're not little. You're almost taller than me. And this is Play and Learn. And this morning, we are going to do a story called Spots of Courage. And I thought Spots of Courage really kind of went along with the idea of Halloween. And that's all I'll say about that particular thing right now. But today, we're going to be decorating pumpkins with the idea of the story. And Maverick is going to create his pumpkin. And you'll see how that process works. So that might be something fun you want to do this coming week. Pick your favorite story, and you'll see how that falls into place. All right, so we're going to take a look at the story, and then we'll come back and see where Maverick is at. All right. So the story is A Little Spot of Courage. It's a story about being brave. It's written and illustrated by Diane Albert. Hi, I'm Courage, a spot. I'm here to help you do something that is challenging or difficult, especially when you're afraid. You might see me when you are brave, too. You see the little guy in the corner? I thought superheroes were the only people who showed courage. How can I show courage? Sister asks. You might have thought of the superheroes when I say the word courage. But here are some real heroes who grow their courage spot every day by keeping us safe. You can see there's a soldier and a fireman, a policeman, and a doctor. And they're on what they call the front lines. You don't need to wear a cape to have courage. Courage is an inside of all of us. And we can do small or large acts of courage every day. You may not see the effects of your courage right away, but I can tell you that every act of courage, big or small, makes a positive difference in our world. That's why we want to grow our courage spot as big as we can. One way we can do this is by creating courage cards. Reading the cards, providing inspiration to do more acts of courage. Let's see what the first card says. Every time you do an act of courage, write it here. So you see the cards, and they're really easy to create. And you can make your own. Courage might look heroic on the outside, but on the inside, it may feel like worry and frustration. Have you ever been frustrated? Courage isn't something that makes us not scared. It's something that helps us overcome worries. In addition, your courage spot, your confidence spot, will be able to be a helpful tool. So there's the little guy at the bottom, and you can see what worried, and you can see frustration too. The more you believe in yourself, the easier it will become to show courage. Try repeating this to yourself every morning. So this is kind of what they call their motto, or their mission for that particular day. Today is a new day. I will have a great start. I will listen to the voice inside my heart. I will let good thoughts inside my mind and tell myself I am brave, I am loving, I am kind. Is it thick?
No, the top of the cap came off, but the bottom didn't.
Oh dear, we have a paint jar problem here, but Maverick will figure it out. There are times you might avoid a safe situation because you are worried or scared. This is when your anxiety spot grows a lot, and it doesn't make you feel very good. That's why you want to try to grow your courage spot every day. Do you ever feel like that spot sitting there on the page? He looks a little worried. And here's an example of how she showed her courage. I was worried before I went to the party because I didn't know that many people, but I ended up having a great time. So she made a decision, or she made a choice. Let's look at some times when you both wrote on your courage cards. Okay, and this is the little boy. Like when the accident happened, you had courage to be honest. Little boy says, I told my parents I broke the vase playing soccer in the house. That did take courage. Cover your cough. Or When you were scared at the doctor's office, you learned the doctors are there to help keep you healthy. And you both had courage to stay calm. So her courage card, I went to the doctor today and I wasn't scared at all. I even got a sticker. And here is the courage card for her brother. I was a little scared to go to the doctor's office, but the doctor made me feel better. Let's see what else she does. Remember when the kids were laughing when someone fell and they tried to get up? Let's start that again. Remember when the kids were laughing at someone that fell and they tried to get you to laugh too? You knew that was wrong and you had courage to say no. And are you okay? That was a rough fall. Let me help you. Courage card. I didn't follow the crowd and I helped someone in need. And that's a really important thing to do. And it's really great that he remembered he wouldn't want someone laughing at him if he fell down. So that was really good of him. Now let's see. You did a great job helping the new student feel welcome when no one else did. You had courage to be kind. Hi, you can sit next to me. And the courage card, I was kind to the new girl in school today and showed her around. And remember when they were talking, they said that you could grow your other kinds of courage, which is kindness and love and things like that, at the same time you're working on your courage. Those clothes you had on yesterday were pretty awesome. It was great to see you had courage to be who you are. Now, can you imagine? There's probably a lot of kids that would have thought, that's kind of strange, and maybe even laughed. But she knows who she is, and she liked what she wore, and that didn't bother her at all. The courage card she had, I wore my favorite outfit even though it didn't really match. She knew it didn't match. And his courage card, he wore a bow tie. I wore my favorite bow tie today, even though I was worried my friends wouldn't like it. So that's a very great combination, to be yourself. When you had to get up on stage, you wrote out your worries before the event. They give you courage to manage your emotions. The courage card. I sang in front of a large crowd for the very first time.
That's the one I just was looking through.
Maverick's going to talk about that one in a little while.
No, I mean, I was just looking through them, and that's the one I was on.
I'll tell a story about that one. All right, the next one. I saw that you had a hard time learning a new skill. You had courage to be resilient and try again. How many times have we done that? Courage card. Art was really hard, but I kept trying. And this is the next page. All great art starts with a scribble. You know that there's a book that's written by Diane Albert that's called Scribble, and it's a really fun story. I was proud to see when you shared that you didn't understand. I bet it helped out other kids too. You had courage to ask questions. Courage card. I asked the teacher for help today. And that's a wonderful way to show other people that they can step out and grow their courage too, without talking to them, simply by what you do. I saw how intimidated you both were trying out for the basketball team, but you had courage to make new friends and try something new, which is playing basketball. Courage card. I tried out for the basketball team. Courage card. I tried out for the team again. Sometimes it takes more than one time. Do you remember when you were learning to tie your shoes? Even though you were frustrated, you had courage to keep trying. So his first thought, this is hard. Then the next thought, I can do this. And then the next thing is, I did it. Courage card on that one. Tying my shoes was hard, but I didn't give up. It's one of those hard things we have to learn how to do when we're like 4 and 5 years old. Remember riding your bike was pretty challenging? You fell a dozen times, but you kept getting up. You had courage to persevere. And now look at her go. Courage card. I learned how to ride my bike. And it's nice to have people support you in that when you're trying something new. I was so excited when you finally realized scary shadows were not scary after all. You had courage to manage your fear. That's a big one. And especially right now with Halloween, there's all kinds of kind of spooky things going on out there that sometimes feel very scary. Courage card. I could sleep without my light on. That's great. Courage card for her. I had fun making shadow puppets in the dark. And that is fun. That's a fun thing to do. Okay, let's see the next one. I'm happy when you discovered that your taste buds are constantly changing. What you didn't like to eat last week could be your favorite food this week. You had the courage to try new foods. And the courage card. I tried papaya, and it tasted yummy. It didn't look great, but it tasted good. Courage card on the other for the little girl. I tried red bell peppers tonight, and I actually liked them. It's very, very frustrating for yourself to look, ooh, that looks icky, but try it in. And this is the little girl. I was delighted you were able to take small steps to achieve your goal. You had courage to try. So she's trying to walk with her arms and hands to the other side of the ladder. That does take courage. It's far way down. I was able to make it halfway on the monkey bars. Yeah, let's see what the little boy did. I was glad you were determined to find the owner of an item you found in the park. You had the courage to do the right thing. And also earlier in the story, he did the right thing too when he didn't laugh at the little girl when she fell. That took a lot of courage, and that was the right thing to do. And the courage card. I found a watch and then looked for its owner. And wow, look at all the courage cards. Try reading them throughout the week to inspire to do more acts of courage. How can you show courage this week? It gives you some ideas of what you might be able to do. We're going to talk about some of those cards, but here's our dancing friend at the end. Gregory comes up with the funnest things to stick at the end of our stories, doesn't he? And he's dancing and is he singing?
I think he's bowing.
You think he's just bowing? Maybe he just sang or something. But anyway, it's very cute and
He's
very
just
funny.
Repeating so it looks like he's dancing.
Yeah. All right. So we'll go one more time. There we are. Or did I go too far, Greg? I went too far. We'll go back one.
That's good.
Oh, well, there we are. Okay, so now we're back to this. So what we decided to do is that we took the book, and we have the book right here. So we took the book, and I'm going to show you the book. I think I might have messed that up, Greg. Sorry. Anyway, we've got to bring all our whole video family into. Just wipe it off on the paper towel. It just got the corner. So we took pictures out of the storybook, and we cut out some of the courage cards that we read throughout the story, and we're going to take paint and just put a little bit on the back of the card and stick that on the pumpkin, the back part. But what Maverick is going to do is we are going to take the character. Let's see, he was in the very front page, so I'm going to pull that so you've got the picture again. And do you like the bell? Here he is. So I'm just going to put this up here so you can see us. So you need to move a little tiny bit. So we've got the character right there. So you can see him. He has a red cape and a blue mask. So that's what we're going to duplicate on the pumpkin. So Maverick's going to hold the pumpkin there. And he decided the spot was going to be green, and the cape is going to be red, and the mask is going to be blue, right? So that's what he's going to create while we're talking. And I'm going to put this back up here so you can see that. Okay? All right. So we just did the pumpkin, and we went ahead and took Sharpies. That's the pens we use. That works best on the pumpkin. And we drew a circle, which is the body of the spot. And he's got, would you, paintbrush? There you go.
There, let's use this one.
Okay. And he's going to go ahead and he's going to paint the main part of the pumpkin, or main part of the character's body. And he's going to do that in the, well, he's doing the mask right this minute. So you can, I think you can see a little bit about what he's doing. As soon as he finishes, he'll turn the pumpkin so you get a better view of it. But let's talk about some of the courage cards that he found in there. And this one is art. Was really hard, but I kept trying. So have you ever done an art picture? What do you need? Did you do this one? Okay, he found what he was. Anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about that. So the art was really hard, but I kept trying. How many times have you had a picture and you saw something that you liked? Say maybe you saw a tree that you thought was really, really cool, and you wanted to go ahead and copy that and make that on a piece of paper, or make it with paint, or make mosaics or something, like some kind of art form that you wanted to duplicate this picture. And how many times did it take you to practice getting it right, making it the way you really wanted it to look? That was the hardest part, was to keep trying. So art's kind of fun too, if you decide that sometimes when you create a picture of art and it doesn't come out exactly right, who knows that it wasn't exactly right? You're the only one. Someone else can look at it and say, oh, that's an amazing tree, I just love it. And maybe one of the branches was drooping, or one of the branches stuck out too far, or one of those things. But they didn't see the picture in your head, so what they saw was they thought was great. But sometimes we're too critical of ourselves, and we say, well, it's not exactly perfect, it doesn't look exactly like the tree. It doesn't have to. Very good. So there's the mask. He's got the mask on there. Good job. So that's one of the cards, and we talked about. And then we saw the 3 characters, or the 4 characters. Yeah. We saw the Army. My son-in-law is in the Army, and he's in Texas right now. That's the station he's at. So he's in Texas, and he does things to keep our country safe all the time. And then the police officer. Have you ever worked in contact with a police officer and stopped? I have to tell you a story. It's a funny story, and it happened a long time ago, but it's still a funny story. I was driving my car with my 2 girls in it, and they were young, a lot younger than Maverick. They were probably 4 and 5 years old. We were driving to Arizona to visit their grandma, my mother. And they kept telling Mommy, go faster, we want to hurry up and get there, come on, hurry. And so, because they were bugging me so much, and bugging exactly the word, because they kept saying it, and I said, I can't go any faster. So I did, I went a little bit faster, and guess what? Police car pulled me over and told me I was going too fast. And the Brandy, who was 5, she looked at the police officer, she said, please don't take my mommy to jail. And the police officer said, I'm not going to do that. And then he talked to me, and he said, you need to not go so fast. And he looked at Brandy and looked at Casey, and told them, well, what you have to do is be more courteous to your mom and not be so hard on her to get there faster. It does take time to do that. So he was really nice, explaining to the girls why we weren't supposed to go too fast, because we wanted to get there safe. So it seemed very funny, not at that particular point in time, but when we related the story to Grandma when we got there, it was like Brandy said, don't do that to my mommy. And he was very sweet and said, and because she said, we just told her to go faster because we wanted to get to Grandma's house. So it was one of those times when moms try to do what the kids want, and sometimes it's not the best thing, but mom's got to decide better the next time, which I did. But it was still interesting, and it took courage for Brandy to say something like that. And it took courage for the officer to think about it and say, okay, I know you didn't do it to go, without thinking about what you were doing. So he said, okay, just go safe, go the speed limit and go safe, and you'll get to your grandma's house. So it was a learning experience on both of our sides, and it did take courage to sit and listen and do that stuff. So it was very interesting to see that happen and play out. So next time, if you're in the car and you really want Mom and Dad to hurry up so you can get there, you still have to obey the rules and stay safe. So that's one of the things that we learned on our trip there, to be able to do that. So that's one of those courages that pile up on a lot of different things, because there was worry and scared and all kinds of things in that probably 10 minutes that we spent in that experience. But those are the things we learned from it as a family. So we learned we get to learn things about doing things together as a family when we don't make good decisions and things like that. So that's a fun experience. It wasn't fun at the time, but afterwards it was funny to think about because we did learn a lot from it. So that was about being patient. That's one big one, about being patient. And let's try this one. This one was, I tried out for a basketball team. Maverick, did you ever try out for any sports?
I played soccer once, but I'm not a big fan of sports.
Not a big fan. What is your favorite thing to do that you might have had to do more than once?
I don't know. Probably. Oh no, I mixed.
What about the eggs? When you drop the eggs.
Oh, I did a parachute. I made a parachute for eggs, so I did have to try more than once. I think on the third time I got it.
Yeah.
Or really on the second time, because the first time was really just throw something together to make sure I fail once.
Uh-huh.
Because it was for the science fair, and we didn't want to get it right the first time. So it wouldn't look like I was cheating.
Well, but isn't that resilience? That's just like the artwork and things that, like, you have to try. Do you remember when you learned how to ride a bicycle?
Yeah, I do. I was really scared to take the training wheels off because I thought I would fall, but then my dad went to go get something, and I thought he was still holding onto my bike, and I just left him in the garage and started riding my bike.
Fantastic.
And then fell when I noticed he wasn't holding on.
Oh, but you didn't stay on the ground long, did you?
I don't remember.
Well, you learned how to ride the bike, so I'm thinking you didn't stay on the ground very long.
No.
All right. Okay, let's see if we can pick one of these other cards that we can relate a story to. And I'm sure a lot of you guys can think of things that you had to do that how you had to build your confidence and knowing that you're safe. Let's like the one with the you didn't have to sleep with your light on in your room. Did you ever experience that? That you had to have a light on in your room to feel comfortable?
I used to.
Oh.
When I was like 5.
Okay, so you went through that. You
Yeah,
went through that.
I guess.
Yeah. Turn this way, and then you move over here a little bit. Trying so the kids can see you. This way.
I'm painting my thumb.
As you decorate yourself. Here. Sorry.
All right, let me kind of tip it down for a second so I can actually set this down and dry my thumb off, because I don't want to get the pumpkin all red like
but
it's
look
bleeding.
look how great the pumpkin's looking so far. So stand over here a little bit. This way. Move this way. There you go. So they can see it in the camera. Very cool. Nice. All right. Yeah. Can you paint that way? Sideways?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I mean I can
Yeah.
paint like this.
It takes practice to know how to paint sideways and draw sideways.
My mom can.
Oh, I know your mom can. Your mom can probably paint standing on her head. His mom is an artist, and she does amazing, amazing stuff. So, and Maverick's very good at it, too. He does good stuff, too. So anyway, sleep with the light on. Do you remember how old you were when you didn't have to have the light on anymore and you felt comfortable being in the dark? Yeah? Then that takes courage, too, to tell Mom, please turn that light out. That takes a lot of courage. Oh, and one of the other things we were talking about is, and I'm going to go back to it. I don't know where it is. Where'd our fireman go? Here he is. I found him. He's under our paper. A fireman. I guess I have lots of stories to share. Have you ever had any experience with the fire department? Have you ever done that?
Other than like going to the fire station for different things, not really like in any actual situation. I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, and I don't remember, but I don't believe so.
Yeah. Well, my nephew is a fireman. He's a fireman paramedic, and he's the captain of a fire station in the valley. And he shares lots of different stories, and the stories that he tells us in ways in which that we can learn from that experience without having to have the experience, which is a very good thing to listen to. And I know sometimes the firemen would come to the schools and things. Of course, right now they're not doing that, and sharing things about the importance of seat belts and the importance of making sure if you have candles lit, you do it in the proper and safe way. And the other thing, too, when you think about Halloween is, and I don't know how much trick-or-treating we're doing this year due to the virus that everybody's very cautious with. So we're not sure how much trick-or-treating people are doing. But if you do, and you're able to do that, which is wonderful if you have that opportunity. You're painting with a pencil?
I needed something to put dots on the eyes, so.
He's painting with a pencil. Good for him.
Yeah.
He's very talented. All right. What's the safest thing that you do when you go out trick-or-treating? Here, I'll clean it for you. You want another brush?
Bring a flashlight.
Bring a flashlight. Very good idea. What's couple of the other things that you do when you go out trick-or-treating?
Stay with a bigger group. Well, this year not really, but normally that would be a good thing to do.
Right. Okay. 2, go with a large group of people. That's another thing that you can do that keeps us safe.
Also,
And
go
that's
in
what the
a
fire department says,
safe
too.
neighborhood that at least one person in the group knows, so it's not like random places.
Oh, that's a very good idea. Going to a safe neighborhood of the group of people you're going with, somebody knows that particular neighborhood. That's a really good idea, Maverick. So that's another one of those things that you can do.
Sometimes we go to one friend's house, sometimes we go to a different one. Last year we even went to my house.
Oh, that's very cool. So, and that's one of the other important things to do, too. And I'll move it a little out of the way so they can see your cape. So now we have the cape of the spot, the courage spot. Okay.
Does he need a mouth?
Yeah, it goes here. We're gonna look at the book to find out what his mouth looks like.
He needs a mouth.
Let's take a look. Let's see. It looks like
Kind of open.
Kind of open.
You can
yeah.
just put a smile, I think.
Yeah, you can just put a smile. I think you're fine, and you can see where it's starting to dry. Yeah, just blow it a little bit. Okay. So that's the courage spot there.
It's a big blob of red paint.
Yeah, you stuck it there.
I forgot about it.
Got it? Okay. So, okay, so we did that card. Let's see, and we talked about shadows, and let's see what else. Have you ever been, or have you? Well, I'm sure you have. I'll get it. You can just leave it there, that's all right. Have you ever been to a new school where you didn't know anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't switched schools other than like going to a next grade where the school no longer has that grade, so you have to go to the next school.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 times, but not really the 3rd time, since the 3rd time it's been on virtual, so technically you don't have to know anybody.
Yeah, right. Right. A lot of the kids can understand about that, right? Having the virtual experience for
Does
school.
that look okay?
That looks great. That looks great. If you're happy with it, it's great.
All right, let me get the cap.
Okay. It's to pick up a pen top that he dropped. Okay. Now, we're going to go ahead and kind of decorate the rest of the pumpkin with some of the characters I cut out of I copied some of the pages, and then we're going to cut the characters out, and he's going to put those on the pumpkin. And let's go over the model, the mission statement, or the promise to them, the individuals, our individual selves, in how we're going to build our courage in all different ways. As we learn from the story, there's lots of ways to build your courage: kindness, honesty, integrity, and all kinds of different things that we learned in order to build your courage.
This will work.
Yeah, you just need a dot of the paint. Just a little bit of it. Yeah. All right, so we're going to learn how to paste paper on pumpkins.
With paint.
With paint.
I don't know if this is going to work, but
we'll give it a try.
We're going to try.
Go ahead and put it in there. So he just
wait, I think I should put this one on first, because I kind of have an idea of how I want to do this.
So we're going to put a little bit of paint on the back. I'm not sure if you
side.
can see. Yeah, that's good.
That's more painting it. I need a blob.
Yeah. But you put blobs of paint on the different parts, and then you paste that on the pumpkin.
At least we think that's how
Yeah,
it's
we
gonna
think
work.
that's going to work. We're crossing our fingers. We think that's going to work. If it pops back off, maybe we'll use tape.
So far, it's working.
All right, well, let's wait and see if as it dries, if it's going to work. This is all about experimenting. And experimenting is kind of a fun experience.
Okay.
Let me hold that.
that.
So I'm going to be his assistant here.
Put some on his feet,
One
like
on
on
the
the
bottom?
bottom. Here, you need to hold under it so I can like actually
Oh.
press down on it.
You can get it on my hands. It won't hurt my hands.
I know.
And the head. There we go. So now we're going to put the army guy, and these are the guys that show courage, build their courage every single day, which is a way that keeps us safe.
Okay.
That looks good. Okay, we'll do this again. One of the other things that I thought would be interesting to talk about is the costumes that you decide to wear. And when you decide to wear a costume, most of the time, you take on that character of what that costume represents. And sometimes that can be a little on the scary side, to think that you have to be exactly what that costume represents, instead of just putting it on to pretend. And so that's another one of the ways of courage is, yes, you can pretend that you're that particular thing. And sometimes it's scary costumes, and sometimes it's funny, and sometimes it's
In the middle.
in the middle. In the middle.
Somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle. A little bit of each one. So and then sometimes you can't find the costumes. The parents can't find the costumes of what you're looking for.
So you make your own.
So you make your own, right? And that's a lot of fun too. And that's when you have to work on the courage of allowing your imagination to.
I like making my own costumes
Do
because
you?
I like
What have you made?
I
What
like
costumes have you
being
made?
things that they don't sell in stores just because I'm not interested in those things.
So what kind have you made?
Last year, I think it was when I was a field medic, which is basically a doctor who goes in the field to help wounded people in the field, like in the army.
Almost like a paramedic.
Almost like a paramedic, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so, I don't think that fits. Like, I feel like it doesn't fit. Like, I think I should only do 3.
Why don't you put one on that side?
Now there's paint on it, whatever.
It's okay. It doesn't matter. It's just having fun with it, and that's the whole idea of the process.
So,
is to have fun.
yeah, so I used, basically we just bought some green pants, like an army green, and then I had a green jacket already, and then we bought like a little bag with a medic symbol on it, and then like a paramedic symbol on it, and then I used a belt with a canteen, like a water bottle cup for the military, and then we took a helmet, and then my parents spray painted on a white circle with a red cross in it for the paramedic, and then I was a field medic, and we kind of made my face dirty and
All right.
added a couple little details, but that was it. And then this year I was going to be a sailor, and I was going, even though they do sell sailor costumes, actually we were going to try that one year, and we bought the costume, and we did not like it, so we returned it, and I became a field medic. I think that was that year. And so I bought a complete original Navy uniform from World War II, and I was going to use, or I'm probably going to use, I may do it 2 years in a row since we're not really trick-or-treating this year.
Yeah.
Since that jacket will fit me for years since it's so big.
Was it big?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to use the
It's all right. That's
jacket
the whole
for
idea.
that. I'm going to use that jacket, so the original jacket and the hat, and then wear some blue pants that we bought, since the pants will never fit me in years because they're huge. Like, they're as tall as me.
Oh my God.
Not really, but like they're pretty high.
Yeah, they could be. Mhm.
Because Navy pants are normally taller. Like, they go up to here more
Right.
like.
They don't go on your
They don't
waist.
go right
Yeah.
down my waist like normal pants do.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
All right. Well, and there's a lot of ways you can do in the imagination and things. So what I wanted to share with you, and Maverick's been helping me with that, is there's lots of ways that you can decorate pumpkins. They don't always have to be scary. They don't have to be funny. But you might be able to share with somebody that happens to look at it and say, oh, that's really cool. What's that about? I've never seen anything like that. And maybe you can share about building courage and things like that. So it's another way of being able to share how you're feeling and things you've learned that they might be able to benefit from too. So that's kind of one of the reasons why we decided to do a pumpkin with the story that we told. So there's one way to decorate a pumpkin. If you have
Also,
other
if you don't want to
storybooks.
carve it,
Yeah, if you don't want to carve it. So
Painting lasts longer.
yeah, and this will last all the way through Thanksgiving.
Well, probably because carving pumpkins, then they get moldy.
Yes, then they start to get mold. That's
Last
part
year,
of science,
we didn't
right.
take it away for like a month, and it was so moldy that it was like white coming out from the inside. You couldn't even open the
Yeah,
top.
that sounds gross.
And then I carved a tiny pumpkin too. So what I do every year, just for fun, after 1 year I did it, and I've done it every year since,
What
is
have
I
you done?
carved my big pumpkin, and then I carved like a mini little, like table pumpkin. I carved that one too.
Oh, cool. Yeah, and does that last longer?
No.
No,
I think it
molds
lasts.
faster, doesn't
I
it?
think so. I don't remember
Because of the size.
exactly.
Right, yes. Yes, you can do that. Moldy pumpkins are, yes, they're very interesting.
Disgusting.
It's kind of a fun thing to do, though,
And
if
they
you want to
stink.
see. Now, if you could, yes, they do. That's just an outside project. One of the other things that you might want to do is if you do something like this with a pumpkin, take a picture of it, and then after like another week, take another picture, and until if you do it a month before Halloween, and then by the time Halloween gets here, you may have a really gruesome pumpkin
It will be scary.
to put out for Halloween if you do it in
The
advance.
scary pumpkin. This
Yeah.
guy will be all melted and
Yeah, so that would
smashed.
be very scary. So it would be very different and very fun. And it's a science project. So if you're still doing virtual school, you can show a science project that you created during the holiday season, during the Thanksgiving or the Halloween season. So these are some little ideas that Maverick and I thought you would have some fun with. So thank you very much, Maverick, for being my assistant
think I
today.
walked off the
And I
camera there.
love the pumpkin. I think we'll turn it around so everybody can see it. I think we've got it.
I can
you
tilt
tell?
it up.
Yeah, just hold
So-
it up and tilt it so they can see the thing. There you go. Perfect. Down a little bit. There we go.
Oh,
So
the red
thank you
paint
very
is
much.
always getting in my way.
Yes, it is. So thank you very much for coming and joining us today. And if you do go out trick-or-treating, please be very safe, wear a mask, and do the things that you're supposed to do. Go in a crowd, like Maverick said, and visit
Or not this
houses.
year, but
Not this year, no.
Normally.
Well, there's other ways in which you can have fun.
yeah,
And you
I'm going to
can
just
check
hang out
your-
with one friend who we've been
Yeah.
quarantining with.
And you can check with your community in your neighborhoods and stuff because they're putting out a lot of things that you can go and do instead of going door to door. So have mom and dad check that out for you too. So, you know, I know in Simi Valley where we live, they have 2 or 3 different kinds of events to celebrate the holiday or celebrate the Halloween season. So if you want to do that, go ahead and have mom and dad check that out. Usually the Chamber of Commerce is the best place to look. So thank you very much. Have a happy Halloween season, and we'll see you next time. Thanks very much.
Bye.
Bye.